Like we said, let's do this, people. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for being here. What a treat. Saturday night. Okay. So we only have two. I know it's going to look a little bit lonely in here, but we're going to stick to the pattern. Okay? You know what's happening. Okay? Okay. Hello, Love Triber. I just saw you somewhere there. Where is it? Yes, there you are. Hello, Laura. I see you. All right. So, good evening and welcome. We're going to have two reports here tonight. One of these and one of these. So let's just do it. Let's get this thing rolling. We might as well just do what has to be done. Okay, this is it. Which one's it going to be? I don't know. I know, it's so exciting. Just one little tiny post-it note, and that's all it is. Who's it going to be? This is it. This is the one. Live in front of your very eyes. Oh, I can't even open it. It's completely stuck and glued together, and it is Virgo. It is Virgo. All the Virgos, suns, moons, and risings out there. Even if you're not here, this is for you. And everyone who's here who's not Virgo, sun, moon, and rising, then you can hang out if you want to and just have fun hanging out, okay? This post-it note has now lived its life. The life cycle of a post-it note can be very short, brutal, sweet, but also tragically beautiful. Here it is. There we go. And we're going to have another toss-up later this evening. Yes, Pacific Standard Time. All right, let's do this. So the star of the show tonight is Virgos. All right, I wonder who else is going to show up. I wonder if any actual Virgos are going to show up here. Hold on. Oh, that sounds so yummy. I don't really eat much chocolate anymore. I'm so sad. I have done that. Red wine with chocolate cake. I do that, people. I would. I could have, would have, and I have done that in the past, but okay. All right, so let's do this. Let's just jump right in. Hello, everybody. Thank you and welcome. Actually, I'm going to say hello first, okay? Here we go. Let's just see. Aha. There we are. There you are. TL, you guys, TL. Introductions, hello, thank you very much. I'm glad to see you're enjoying yourself with your beverages and your little nibbles, your deli nibbles on the side. That's perfect. Your perfect viewing companion. Okay? It's just like going to the movies and eating popcorn. It's the same thing. Okay? Laura Ellen Smith, not one planet in Virgo. Maybe there's one of the stars. You know, one of the fixed stars. Eris, Ceres, Lilith, and many more. There's a whole ton of them out there. I bet we could find a fixed star for you somewhere in Virgo, Laura. Okay? Sorry your head is hurting you. That's what's called a headache. Maybe everyone here can do some remote healing while Tarot Lumination is working on the side. Everybody could do a little bit of remote healing for Laura. Sometimes she gets really, really upset. Too much like brain activity. So we could do some of that, do some Reiki, you know, like Tarot Illumination, Love Tribe, Reiki type stuff, okay? Okay. Take care of yourself, Laura, and I recommend 3 aspirin and a large glass of water. Maybe with a little bit of food. There we go. So let's get on, people. All right, here's how we do this. Like we did before on the other ones. So, this is the same information as we have for all the other signs, but I'm allowing that, you know, there's some people here who've never watched any of this before, so I have to kind of do the whole, you know, routine. I'm only going to be focusing on the yellow highlights, okay, for this report. All the other stuff here is if people want personal readings, and we have to go into great detail. So at the very tippy beginning of the month, people call this Scorpio season. I like to say that we're still having a Scorpio new moon vibe because the Scorpio new moon actually happened at the very, very end of October with a like 5-planet stellium, 4 or 5 or whatever it was, okay? And so that drifts over into November itself. So on November 1st, the moon is actually in Capricorn, but that's as the Scorpio new moon lift energy rises, okay? So it's in the flow of the new moon, okay? And so that's for everybody. And for Virgos, that's going to be actually probably quite harmonious for you, okay? So over here, later in the month, first of all, we got Mercury retrograde. If anybody cares or worries about that, I'm sorry for you. Please make the best of it. There's no harm meant here with Mercury retrograde. It's in Scorpio. So what? Deal with it, people, okay? Everything gets a little bit wobbly with telecommunications and so on. That's normal. Everybody should know about this now on the whole planet, okay? It's not like it's anything new, okay? So we have to just deal with it. So watch your words. Watch your words, what you're speaking and how you're listening, okay? And give yourself a few moments to think before we respond, okay? Over here, in the middle of the month, November 12th, we have the full moon in Taurus, okay? So luckily for you, Virgo, these signs happen to be very harmonious. So you're kind of lucky. You're one of the lucky ones this month, okay? Now, we'll see what this looks like in your astrodoodle in a minute. Later on, everything shifts and this gets a little more uncomfortable for you, Virgos, as the sun moves into Sagittarius on the 22nd, and we drift further into it on the 26th, where we have a new moon in Sagittarius, okay? And that is in kind of a challenging part to your life and your world, okay? So we'll talk about that in a moment. Here's the fun thing for you, Virgos. At the very tippy end, November 30th, the moon goes all the way back into Capricorn again. So it started here in Capricorn and finishes here in Capricorn. So it's like a huge, I look at it as a blanket, okay, that covers the whole month. In some ways, that energy is more dominant than almost anything in the chart, the way I look at charts, okay? So we would have, Moon, Pluto, Saturn, Venus, and I'm including a nudge of Jupiter starting to drift very, very close to Capricorn. It's at the 29th, degree, the 0 point. So we're kind of feeling it, all right? Okay. I see your note path. Sleep is very good medicine, by the way. So let's just go straight to your chart, okay, dear Virgos? Okay, here we go. It looks like this. Again, nothing to cause alarm. Okay, there's a few little rumbles and awkward things here, but we'll talk about that. This, dear Virgos, is your Astrodoodle. I know, it's going to go along with the collection up in the Getty Museum. Okay, they're starting a huge archive there just for the Tarot Lumination Astrodoodles. Yep, and 100 years from now, people are going to be lining up to see them. Okay, so for you, let's put Virgo on the horizon over here, okay? And let's go directly to the new moon in Scorpio energy, leftovers from the end of October. It starts over here, okay? So the way I look at the charts, November 1st, we're already in the new moon Scorpio vibe, okay? And Mercury's retrograde, and that is in your house of communication. So Virgos, you might be feeling a little bit of a push-pull, 10 steps forward, 9 steps back in terms of your routine communications in day-to-day life, trying to work a checkout machine at a gas station with your debit card, or trying to text somebody or email somebody and things just not working. Anything to do with telecommunications of any kind could be feeling a little bit discombobulated for you, especially because Mercury is retrograde in your 3rd house, the house of communications, okay? But it's new starts and new beginnings here, so it's a chance to basically reformat, re-upgrade, do all of those things that you normally do with a computer and things like that, where you just have to do these routine upgrades, as tedious as it might be, but it's ultimately for your luscious, deeply intense benefit, in enabling you to communicate more effectively than ever before. Better listening, better speaking, better understanding, literally just like being a better computer. I hope you would understand, Virgo, because you have a very sort of computer-like profile in some ways. 2 months. Let's keep going, people. 2 weeks later, excuse me, 2 weeks, not 2 months. 2 weeks later over here, the moon is up in Taurus. So that's very sweet and comfortable for you too. This is your ninth house of, big adventures, higher knowledge, wisdom, greater understanding, higher consciousness, seeing your life from a much bigger, broader perspective, as though you were kind of, like a raptor flying high above the surface of the earth. So high that you can even observe yourself like you're watching a movie of you, and you see much vaster horizons, and it takes you out of the more, let's say, narrow vision of being down here on earth, and instead you get a really big bird's eye view of your life. So in other words, the things that are starting to germinate with you here, new starts and new beginnings, upgrades, a lot of upgrades, will make a lot more sense and more clarity towards the middle of the month. And you'll see it like, oh, now I get it. And you're still in the retrograde period here, okay? So you'll still be kind of like learning how to operate. It's just like learning a new app, Oh, I get it. No, oh, I get it. Oh, like, phone me. Oh, like, yeah, I get it. And you'll just get better and better and come at it from a much more, I would say, optimistic perspective, and giving everybody lots of freedom to move, and giving yourself a lot of freedom to move that you never used to do, okay? Next, let's keep going. Actually, let's look at one thing over here. Let's just point this out because it's kind of awkward, and I feel like if I don't point it out, I'm being negligent. Neptune is here in Pisces, okay? It's been there for years, and it's going to be here for years. That's in your house of significant other. So it can make it really difficult for some people to really nail down what the heck is going on in my most important relationships, okay? Because every time you think like, oh, I get it, now everything is making sense, it's beautiful, it's amazing, it's like the ideal, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, hold on, I thought we were like this, or we were like that, or like, well, no, actually things have changed. And then you have to go with the flow. Ultimately, of course, it's for your own growth and learning to understand that there's more to relationships than, let's say, three-dimensional things like, I have to have my lover. I have to have a marriage and a joint bank account. And if I don't make babies, I'm useless. And if I don't have this kind of this and that in a relationship, then people think that I am not worthy, and on and on and on. And you can end up betraying yourself or betrayed by another without even knowing it's happened till it's too late. So you have to be very careful. Hello, Nikki, I see you. So, it's just kind of a warning sign. Just be aware, Virgo, that this is not going away at all. And just to be very aware and careful that, allow for the fluidity and the morphing and the changes that happen in relationships, okay? Especially when the moon touches there on the 6th and the moon touches you on the 21st, okay? Just be extra careful in your communications, okay? Let's keep going. Over here, we have the new moon in Sagittarius just after the sun came into Sagittarius. And that's kind of in an awkward part here to the life, because Sagittarius rules your 4th house, foundation, stability. But, Jupiter's there, so it's not so bad. It's, again, new starts and new beginnings here, but this is going to shift and change. You've done most of the work here about a lot of the, let's say, remodeling, okay? You could call it, I would call it remodeling in your home, your family, your life, your place. Remodeling in a large sense. I'm not just talking about, paint and, new windows or whatever. I'm talking about completely remodeling how you conduct your home and family life for the better, okay? So, great new starts and new beginnings there, but it's going to shift really quickly towards the Capricorn energy, because this, for me, is the kind of big deal. For you, Virgos, even though there's no sun here or anything, but we do have Pluto, Saturn, Venus, and the moon, and then the moon over here. And this is in a really sweet part of life for you: creative self-expression, true love, romance, creativity. Think of yourself like, an artist, a performer, an actor, someone who's on stage, someone who's in the lights, someone who's taking risks and going out there in the world and doing the things that you really love to do, knowing that things might not work, but you do it anyway because it's very satisfying. And so with all this Capricorn energy here at the profound level, to me that tells me it's that whole part of your life and world is very slowly going through these huge irreversible transformations, which are ultimately for improving you, okay? Especially in your love life, especially in like having more fun, just literally being more happy, having more fun. It might be a very serious long-term process to learn how to do that, but it's like learning how to have seriously good fun and to be happy at the very core and maintain high responsibility. Instead of having fun by like taking lots of drugs and getting smashed and drunk and everything, it's about the fun and the joy of really connecting with souls at the very deep, most intimate, romantic level possible, okay? Hey Topaz, I see you. Yay. So let's just keep moving. This is just general stuff that I wanted to point out for all Virgos, but let's go into some more personal things over here. All right. So I'm going to start off with hold on, let me just say hi. I said hi earlier, but I just want to check in again for all the late arrivals. Hello, greetings. Okay. All right. We're going to start off with some a relationship spread. Okay, so we're going to use the Crucible spread like we've done on all the other reports. And as you know, I'm just saying this in case there's, some newbies here who watch this video later and have no idea what we're talking about. Crucible is a structure that they use in laboratories to withstand intense alchemical reactions while they're doing them, which is just the same as what happens in human relationships. I think of it as a bowl. It's typically a bowl structure. That's why I show it as a bowl, and it's also on the understanding that in this bowl there is you, there is a significant other, and there's this third entity, kind of like the bowl itself, the crucible itself, which is the relationship. And I can show that to you in your astrology if you want, with a significant other. And so it's a living, breathing thing, and it has its own identity, energy, meaning, and purpose. And so what's going on there? You own this, Virgo, along with a significant other. It's not a couple's reading, as you know, but you're the star of this, but we have to allow for a co-star to tell the story, okay? So here we go. And let's have a look. You'll see in a moment the way it plays out. So let's bless this deck, bless every single card, bless all of you. Thank you so much. Bless the cameras, the lights, and everything that allows us to do this at all. Okay, here we go. Let's have a look. Let's see what we've got for you, Virgo, in this matter. So again, think of yourself like a smartphone, radiating and transmitting and receiving energies all day, every day, including in love and relationship, okay? And over here, the same for a significant other, and at the core, the relationship itself here. This is the third entity, and what is growing here, this would be like the potted plant, okay? I hope you can see that. There it is. And what is sprouting here? What is germinating? What is growing? Okay, whatever it is, we'll see in a moment. And all of this, of course, is surrounded by what I like to think of as the weather. And that could be your immediate circumstances, the challenges in your life, your environment, your home, your family, whatever it is. I like to think of it as the planets mostly, but anyway, let's have a look. With the Nine of Cups. Well, my feeling is that this relates pretty strongly with the Scorpio-Taurus axis, which is actually really sweet and very supportive for you, okay? And also, the other stuff that's really, I don't think I actually put it on here. Hold on. Oh, yes, I did. See, I think with the Nine of Cups here, it's relating very closely to the rich Capricorn energy and the rich Taurus energy, which is very harmonious with you. In fact, I'm going to put a new doodle on here to include it, okay? This is going to be a new component. Can you see that? That's sacred geometry, in case you don't know that. This is sacred. This and this and this. These are all in trine energy. That's deep harmony, okay? So it's very sweet for you. This could be really sweet around the 21st, by the way. this and this and this. This is working very, very strongly on your behalf in terms of sacred geometry. So that's kind of handy, and I think it's telling you in a very subtle, gentle way, dear Virgo, you're one of the lucky ones. You have a lot of things going for you that perhaps some others really don't have right now in terms of, like, sacred geometry and stuff. So number one, please be aware of how incredibly fortunate you are, Virgo. No matter the challenges of that 7th house, no matter the challenges of the Sagittarius 4th house, don't worry about that stuff. Those two shall pass. The important thing is, like a lot of times in astrology, for example, I highlight all the risks, the orange stuff and the red stuff, and we rarely talk about the green, sweet, good stuff because people just take it for granted. They don't even think about it, okay? And it's more like a weather report. You want to know about the danger spots and everything. So my feeling is that the Nine of Cups is reminding you, dear Virgo, please understand how lucky you are to have this and this and this right now. And sure, this is a problem in some ways. Sure, this is a problem in some ways. But right now, time to take full advantage of the sweet good fortune of all this stuff, okay? That's really good for you. All right. And you deserve it, okay? Let's have a look. What are you radiating here? Okay, you see? It's kerblam. This could be one of those moments. Like, I don't look at this as, climactic type of joy. I look at this as deep contentment. It's like this is one of those periods in astrological history. However effed up your life might be in certain ways, there's a certain part of it in terms of the really heavy duty stuff, the things that count, like Pluto, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. Soon it's going to be Jupiter too. That stuff is really sweet for you, and that could give you a sense of sort of glowing contentment. In other words, you don't have to shout around partying like a out of control maniac. This is somewhere where you could just literally be glowing and radiant simply by wearing your yoga gear on the way to the supermarket. And you're not doing anything spectacular to show off or anything. You're just kind of in your zone, and you're radiating your aura at the optimal level without having to actually, flamboyantly show off to the whole world. It's just literally being in the zone, being in the flow, being in a state of joy and enjoying the moment, okay? Because these things don't happen every day, okay? People don't get the sun card every day over here in this part of the reading. So I'm very happy to see it for you, Virgo. What about the others over here? Okay, so with the Page of Pentacles, part of it makes me feel in their own very modest, humble way, they're actually trying to keep up with you. And they kind of want to be with you. It's just like, it's almost like, that feeling with friends? If you look at the 3rd house, Scorpio stuff for you, that can be a very strong indication of friendship over here. Of course, also with the 11th house, but over here, friends, acquaintances, the people who hang out with you on an everyday basis, the people you hang out with. It's almost like you would be glowing enough where, at a very subconscious level, certain people are really attracted to you because of this really powerful but very subtle energy of contentment and joy that is just, radiating out of you, just like a beautiful, gentle aura. And it's almost like, hey, do you mind if I, be with you? Can we just hang out? What are you doing lately? Do you want to hang out with me? I'm like, oh, maybe we could. Shall we have coffee? Oh, that would be so cool. I would love to go and have a cup of coffee with you. Where do you want to go? I'll buy it. It's on me, okay? And you're kind of like, okay, sure. Sounds great. Just tell me when and where. All I have to do is check up this. I got to check out my groceries. Everything will be fine. Oh, wow, that's so cool. Thank you so much. And they're coming at you with the very, very best of intentions. It's almost like they are making a love offering to you in terms of deference and respect, and showing you their appreciation. That's what I look at here in terms of a love spread type of reading. They are showing you a token of appreciation. love is as love does. In other words, actions are speaking louder than words, and they are very sincere, very honest, and very true, and very genuine. Okay? In that way. It's almost like, wow. It's like, I'm so glad I know you. I'm so glad we met. And like, maybe we're not the best friends, maybe we're not married, but this is so cool, It's almost like, hey, guess what? I get to hang out with Virgo. Oh, look at me. Ooh. That's the kind of what I'm feeling here, okay, Virgo? Again, let's have a look. What's happening at the core? Let's have a look. Very different. Okay, with the Eight of Pentacles here, my feeling is that this is highly and well deserved, dear Virgo. You are well known, almost famous for doing work, just doing what has to be done, even though you might not be always, fully rewarded or acknowledged or understood at the time, and you just do it. And so I think there must be some kind of relationship in your life somewhere where you are seeing the evidence of what it's like to be the very best version of Virgo that you can be. In other words, you realize, wow, I see what you mean, Tarot Illumination, over the long term. It is worth the work. It is worth the whole concept of love thyself. It's work all day, every day. Investment programs, figuring out what I have to do to how to be the best version of me, improving my skills, my day job, my fitness program, my rest, my self-care, my self-love, my quality time, my private time, my social time, all of that. It's work to get it organized and done properly, just the way Tarot Illumination likes to do with lining up all my pencils and cards and readings and everything. So it's worth it. And I think the relationship itself is going to show you in evidence that it's worth it. Being who you are, how you are, the way you are, and why you are the way you are. You're going to see evidence. It's coming at you. The reflections are coming at you like, this is worthy. You are worthy. You are deserving. You are open to receive love. And you are ready, and you're willing, and you're able to receive love. Sometimes Virgos can be so shy, they are very good at blocking themselves from receiving love. But this is not one of those situations. This is where you are fully open, ready, willing, and able to receive love. And it shows. Somewhere, somebody out there loves you very deeply, Virgo. Okay, let's have a look. So, to me, this looks like, this is going to sound very strange. It's the Nine of Swords. But it looks to me, this is almost like relief. Because to me, it looks like what's happening is it's exposing, like, you're becoming aware of all the stressful things that you've had to endure to get here and be here in this particular reading. And so, this is going to sound really strange, Virgo, but you look at all the stressors, all the anxieties, all the pain, the suffering, the conditioning, the misery, the abuse of whatever, however that came to you, how you betrayed yourself, how others betrayed you, how you never, stood up for this, you allowed yourself to be taken advantage of, whatever it is, every conceivable version of self-undoing, you realize like, wow, I learned so much from this. I've learned so much from my pain and suffering. And that's very, very valuable. It's almost like one of those parables, like they have on Earth, like, oh, the whole point of life is pain and suffering, because that's how you learn the most. Okay, well, it's not really true. Sometimes it's really good to be joyful and have fun, but sometimes we are not aware of the true bounty, of the true joy and true contentment, unless we are acutely aware of the polarity, which is all the pain and the suffering. So in some ways, what I'm asking you, Virgo, to do is look at this Nine of Swords here as a very, very beautiful flower, but it's more like a flowering cactus. Okay, do you see my point here? If you think of all these swords as very, very sharp, very, very highly defensive parts of your system, it's a very beautiful thing. I don't know if you've seen a big cacti close up, or when they are blooming. A cactus in bloom is staggeringly beautiful, okay? And the cactus is something that has endured intense pain, intense pressure and deprivation for very long periods of time. And yet, when the circumstances are just right, they get the just right moment of moisture and sun and humidity and temperature. It's beautiful. So that might sound like a very unconventional reading to you, Virgo, but to me this is beautiful. Okay? I'm going to tuck this over here, and let's put this aside as a life lesson well learned the hard way. How about that? Okay? Lucky Virgo. Okay, I'm going to move on. I'm going to go straight over to a situational spread here in case we have any ongoing issues that we really need to take care of. In other words, you can't just go off in an optical delusion of insane jollities here, like someone who gets so happy and they're like happy drunk on a week of champagne. That's not going to work here. This is happiness from simple sobriety and job well done, and understanding the huge polarities in life between joy and sorrow, because without the polarities you would never know the joy. Okay, so let's have a look. I'm going to use the situational spread. Okay, let's have a look here. Same spread they use in Washington DC at the Situation Room in the White House. Thank you very much. I feel very honored to be on a direct dial. You know, whenever they have an issue up there, it doesn't matter who the president is, they just dial it in and TL is right there. I just boot it up just like we're doing here and we figure it out. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Beautiful cut there. Very even. Okay, here's the situation. Here's the challenges. And here's how we're going to handle it. Okay, Virgo? You see how nicely I've got everything lined up for you? Perfect. Perfect Virgo style right there. Actually, I have to confess, dear Virgos, I've known some Virgos who are so picky that they can't touch anything that isn't perfect. And so they end up like with certain things in their life that are absolutely lovely, like their hair, their makeup, or their wardrobe. But you go to their house or their living room or their kitchen, and it's like they're like a bomb just went off. Okay? Sorry. Not all Virgos are that way, but anyway, it's just something that I've noticed over many years of observation. Let's have a look at the weather. Okay? The High Priestess energy over here. My feeling is this is very much relating to Neptune in your 7th house. Okay? Over here. Okay? And to me, part of it is a little bit of a warning, okay? Dear Virgos, as much as sweetness this is here for you, please be aware that what is happening with you in the area of long-term understandings and growth and healing and evolution and adaptation in love and relationship is happening at a very deep, profound soul level that's sometimes very hard to understand. And so it's almost like the way that heaven is delivering the messages to you is in a need-to-know basis, okay? It's almost like a mystery. In other words, there are a lot of things that might be happening in your most intimate one-on-one relationships, that things that really, truly don't make sense. It's just like they baffle you. They defy logic. Like you try this, but that happens. Or they try this, but that happens. And there's no, it doesn't make any sense. And the point is, you can't handle it all at once. And Neptune is like having a slow journey, so that, in other words, it's supposed to be a mystery. It's supposed to be puzzling, and you can only handle so much at a time. Sometimes, if you're dealing with the concepts of things like betrayal, or disappointment, or disillusion, or deceit, or any kind of shadowy, not shadow, but like the flip side of Neptune energy, which is very hard to handle. You know, things like theft, betrayal, addictions, self-undoing, self-sabotage. All those things are very hard to learn and understand in the context of love and relationship. So you need time to integrate. And I think the High Priestess energy is here very, very calmly assuring you, dear Virgo, Everything is exactly as it should be, and you're learning what you need to learn on a need-to-know basis, because if we took the veil away right now, you would be blown away, you would be overwhelmed, and you couldn't handle it. So every now and again, things shift and change, and you come to a beautiful understanding. And then things go back into the world of mystery until you are ready to handle the next layer of understanding, okay? So that's very much related to relationships, okay? Which affects, of course, the rest of your life. Let's have a look. What is the situation itself? Okay, now to me this is like a double message. With the Seven of Swords here, my feeling is that this is very closely related to relationships. Please be very, very careful in what you say, how you say it, when you say it, who you say it to, and where you say it. Okay? I'm being very serious, Virgo. Okay? Because you could easily be setting yourself up for deception and betrayal without knowing it. And you could easily be betrayed, undermined, and deceived without knowing it. It's like black ice. You might think you're doing everything just fine, and then you realize, uh-oh, I wish I hadn't sent that text, or, oh my God, I just sent it wrong. I sent that text to so-and-so, and it was supposed to go to so-and-so, and it's a real screw-up in terms of social politics. Oh no. So this is like a serious warning. Beep, beep, beep. Be very, very careful in your communications. Give yourself pause. Give yourself time so that you don't... it's almost like with the retrograde period, there's going to be mishaps, okay? So all I'm suggesting is that forewarned is forearmed. Think of it like driving on black ice. When people are driving on black ice, if you don't know what that is, in the United States we have it a lot in places that get very cold and they freeze overnight, and there's a bit of moisture, and then there's a layer of thin ice on the road that you can't see, but it is absolutely deadly, and you can drive right into it thinking everything's fine, and all of a sudden your steering wheel doesn't work, and your car is going like, whoa, wait a minute, whoa, what was that? And your brake and your throttle and they don't do anything anymore. You steer this way and the car goes that way. So you have to be very, very careful, okay? Just be very careful. What's the problem with all of this? Well, it's a problem because some of the things that are going on with love and life and relationship are probably, I would guess, very painful. Some of the lessons and the experiences that are happening in love and life and relationship for some Virgos are inevitably going to be really painful because of the energy of what is happening here. And it's going to be hard to predict it. Sometimes the only way to predict it is with a little bit of predictive astrology, like a little moment like this, around the 6th of November. Be very careful. Around the 21st, be very careful, okay? And anytime this squares off, okay, around the 22nd, be very careful. And whatever this will be over here, maybe around the 14th or 15th, be very careful. In other words, as lovely as this is, you're still very susceptible to spinning out, like on black ice. And so what can happen is, you might feel as though what you thought was something very beautiful and loving and ideal turns out to be tragically not so. So you end up feeling the pain and suffering and the grief of the loss of something that was what you believed was love. That's very hard to handle. Grief is very hard to handle for a lot of people. But you have to remember that it's not over. This life, this journey is not over. It's just we're living through a chapter of extended mystery, okay? So the little Two of Cups is still there, but sometimes it takes a lot to get over this and move on to the life ahead where everything's good again. So let's have a look. How are we actually going to do this? Okay, just admit that you're innocent. You don't know, you don't have all the facts at hand. You don't have all the knowledge, the wealth, the resources, the abundance of being like a supernatural god to be able to figure out this stuff. Because if you were, you wouldn't be here as a human being incarnated in physical form with the Pentacles here to learn what you have to do. So my feeling with the Page of Pentacles is to understand that whatever kind of betrayal, treachery, losses, deceit, grief, sorrow is, no matter how painful it is, it's ultimately about a learning experience from which you are ultimately going to evolve, grow, and adapt and blossom, okay? So that's how we deal with it, all right, Virgo? In other words, it's almost like there's no point in taking it personally, even though it might feel very, very personal at times when things don't work out in certain relationship dynamics. It's going to feel potentially painful and treacherous, but it's not the end of the world. We have to find a way, and you will find a way to treat it as a very deep, perhaps tragic life lesson, okay? Well, maybe it's not tragic, but let's say uncomfortable or sad. And then you learn, okay? And then you mature from here. You will mature and grow from all of this, okay? Okay, I'm going to finish off now with one single oracle card for you. And this is just going to round things off for you. I'm going to use the Return to Spirit deck. Thank you from Love Triber. Very kind. I'm glad you guys are chatting amongst yourselves, hanging out. By the way, I want to let you know that after this recording, I'm very quickly going to be going on to the final recording for Pisces. And we're going to go through the same rituals, okay? I don't want to deny Pisces the joy of seeing their own Post-it note come out of the magic box. Here we go. Let's have a look. What, basically like it's a message from heaven, do we have for you guys and girls, dear Virgos? It's interesting. I didn't think there would be such a huge emphasis on relationships relating from here to here, but sometimes that happens. I think it might be simply because you might be so vulnerable you needed to hear this message. Things might not be so bleak or tragic as the way I was feeling it here, but you still need to be very, very careful, okay? Because you're still highly susceptible. Okay, we are well shuffled. I'm going to go from here to here to here. So now we have your card coming up on the top. Let's have a look, dear Virgos. Make sure everything's just nicely lined up for you. That's as good as I can get it. Over here, we have sexuality. Okay, so this is highly specific. Let me read from this. I don't really know how to interpret the image here. This is some fractal art that she made. So I'm just going to hold it there, and you guys can figure it out for yourselves. To me right now it looks like two people dancing, and I'm seeing them from an overhead kind of view like they would do in a movie or something if they wanted to capture some beautiful ballroom dancing kind of thing. Have you ever heard that expression? They used it in the olden days. Ah, those two, they dance well together, don't they? Yes, that's kind of what I'm seeing here. All right, let's see what we say. All right. It says here, Dear Virgos, your sexuality is just as important as any other aspect of your being. It's so important, in fact, that not one, but two chakras manage and maintain your sexual energy. Loving sexual contact is vital for your emotional, physical, and energetic well-being. It can be one of the greatest pleasures and joys of being incarnated in a human body. You are being asked to look at your desires, beliefs, or wounds around your sexual needs. If you are feeling inadequate, unwanted, or unattractive, then it is time to begin a regime of self-love. It is time to restore any low self-worth and negative programming you have about your physical body. We are often much harder on ourselves than our partner might ever be. Your negative thoughts or self-image could be holding you back from experiencing the deeper emotional aspects of intimate love. This card can also be indicative of neglecting your intimate and sexual connection with your partner. Perhaps this is the opportunity to resurrect the feelings of desire and sexual attraction that you once shared. It could also be letting you know that it is important to take your intimate life a priority, to make your intimate life a priority now. Feeling sexual and playful is invigorating no matter your age. So put on your sexy gear and wear it proudly. Have fun with it and enjoy it. Flirt a little. Smile at someone you're attracted to. Dress up in something that makes you feel attractive. Put your energy out there. Enjoy the gift of innocent sexual playfulness. Sexual energy is a powerful expression of our creative force. You may find that by allowing your sexual energy to flow, your creative energy will flow too. By embracing every aspect of being human, we discover the truth of our own divinity. Wow. Kerblam. Thank you. Virgos, I'm not going to reinterpret that or add anything to it. It's very direct. And you can reinterpret however you want. I think it's highly relevant to the reading, but I don't want to exploit the card anything more than what it is there. It's very clearly written. And so it's up to you guys to digest it and reinterpret it to your own particular situation, okay? So let's have a look. I'm going to now check out with you guys and see what's going on. Hold on, where are you? Ah, there you are. Hello. Hello, dear Virgos. Well, that was a different kind of reading, wasn't it? So, anyway, Topaz is perking up. Love Tribers, wink, wink. Thank you very much. So, let's just leave it at that. I'm going to leave it open and loose, and you can reinterpret however you want. Of course, love thyself. That's the #1 priority on this channel. Being loving and being loved once you learn how to love thyself. One day, maybe we'll make a video, I'm hoping to, one day, something like that. How to love another, how to be loved by another, by learning how to love thyself. Get it? So anyway, let's check out, people. Okay, I'm going to start wrapping this up. I'm going to say toodaloo. And I'm going to break all the show down here and prepare for the next one. And we'll probably be up again within the next half an hour or something like that. Maybe an hour, maybe who knows? It's going to be really soon though, okay? So I'm going to put on some, what I think of as therapy in the background, if you don't mind. Take care, everyone. Bye bye, everyone. See you all again very soon.